Okay, so the first of the 26 poses, the first of the 13 yang poses is pushing pose. This in a way is one of the most yang poses. We use it to explore power, like raw power, force, determination, grit, driving through things. And equally, with some clients, we're exploring they do that too much, right? So maybe there's people from New York or London or Moscow, they live in one of those fast pushing urban environments, and we use it to bring that out, to show that their default is there. So as you're doing this at home, again, as with all of them, experience them fully and enter into the inquiry internally is totally fine. Okay, so in this pose, about as wide as the mat. That depends, of course, how big your mat is, how big your legs are, but it's a rule of thumb. What we'll do in a lot of the yang poses is not have it too narrow, like you may in a classical kind of warrior two or something. So, okay, as wide as the mat, most of the weight on the front foot for this pose, that's really important actually. The back leg is straight and extending, the hands are here, as if you were pushing a heavy car, head slightly down, chest slightly this way. Okay, so doing this along at home, you can do either side, and remember you can swap sides anytime you need to, you can pause the video. Feeling that, felt sense of it, tuning in to that embodiment, that way of being, that energy, if you will. The breath's almost like a growl, like the noise you'd make if you were pushing a heavy car or a boulder. Eyes quite focused. Tuning into the felt sense of that pose. Ask yourself, does it feel familiar? It's always asking this question in your first language. Variations maybe, do you feel at home here? Not literally, obviously, but the feel of it, the essence of it, the quality, does it feel familiar? Where do you need this in your life? Where do you need to be a bit more pushy, to have a bit more of that raw power? Or do you overdo this? Is there somewhere where you could have a bit less of this? Notice how it is staying in the pose. If there's that urge to kind of get out of the pose, assuming there's not a physical injury, if it's ever a physical problem, you can always step out. But there may be like an emotional quality of like, oh, I have enough for this, or this is getting a bit annoying or boring or something. So notice if there's that's there. And as you step out of the pose, notice if there's a feeling of relief or of like, oh, I was really longing for that, I was really enjoying that. There's a kind of moment of honesty as you step out of each pose. Okay, so remember after each pose to write down or talk with a friend to process a little bit of what you learn. Those questions there again, is it familiar? So we're noticing if the feel of it's familiar. It could just be today, could be the time of the day, the place you're in, but it could be your character that's being revealed there, yeah? And the next one, where do you need this in your life? There's normally some kind of life linking in the second inquiry, so this might be two things to write down there or to say to a friend.